How much older and fatter do we look?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Kyle and Corin is coming at you. This is the first one in 2024?
This is the first one in like fucking 24 days or something like that. It's been a hot minute. I was missing this, man. I was like, I texted you. I was like, can we bring it back? Because like, I don't go on Twitter. I go on Twitter some here and there. I've kind of like phased out of it. Just like, I feel like it's becoming a little bit of a cesspool-ish with Elon kind of going berserk with the shit. So I've kind of faded out. But I do go on and I'm on there and I occasionally see like Kyle and Corin. And like now that we're a little bit more settled in our new house and shit like that, I've missed it. I've missed like sitting on the toilet, reading comments and like seeing people like shit on me and Molly say stuff. So I texted you. I was like, yo, can we bring this shit back? And you were like, yeah, of course. I know we both were like busy with stuff, but I'm excited to fucking chat it up again, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I missed it too, for sure. It's just, you have 48 kids. I have 42 kids.
Yeah.
And when you have kids by like 9 o'clock, you're like, all right, it's time to go to bed right now.
OD. And like, even tonight, so I start putting my girls to bed at like, I don't know, 7:30. And I'm in a good ass mood. Like, just finished dinner, put some music on, like we were singing. They get in bed, they're sleeping or about to go to sleep. And then they'll start crying and like wilding out. And I'm like, my whole mood goes from like happy to like go the fuck to sleep. And then it's like, I got to rev it back up for the podcast now. But they were kind of good tonight. So I'm still in like a good mood. It would kind of suck if it like I have to like it used to be bad because I would have to lay with them. And I don't know if you know, but like you got to lay with them for a hot minute. So like you start falling asleep. Then when they fall asleep, it's like, all right, I got to get up and finish doing shit and like actually complete like my day as a person. And it's impossible because like you're already in shutdown mode.
Tell everybody the ages of your kids because they need to understand.
Yeah, I feel like since we had
what
a
podcast,
it's like I've had like 1,400 kids. I've got 4 daughters. I've got 6, 4, 3, and 15 months. So
6, 4, 3, and 14 months. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stop and think about that for a second because that is, even the oldest one is still kind of at an age where it's like you or your wife, Molly, needs to like make every meal. You still need to be on top of like every little aspect of what she's doing. It's still in the zone where it's like, I need to make sure you don't like jump off a bridge randomly and kill yourself.
Yep.
Right. And that's the oldest one. The younger ones, it's like, that's even more.
Like, don't shit your pants. Don't pee your pants. Like, don't, like that's more.
100%.
Yeah. It's, there's whole different dynamics to each level of it. And like, even on the basic of it, like remembering birthdays, remembering like anniversary with my wife, remembering like what I have to do later in the day. Like there's only a maximum amount of space in my brain that is allotted for like things that I should know. Like I want to remember like who won the NBA championship last year. Like I want that to still be in my brain somewhere. But like now when you have everything to do, you like all that gets deleted. And you like, so every day I try to like say their birthdays just so I never
so that you remember it.
Like,
yeah.
But I feel for parents and people who are like, they just keep it real. They're like, yeah, what? Like, I don't know when my son's birthday is. like when people would get mad at their parents, like for messing up names or like saying the wrong kid or like whatever. And like the kids would get mad about that. Like I have no sympathy. Like you can't get mad at parents anymore because it's like, it's impossible. It's impossible to remember anniversaries,
bro.
Like anything when you have like multiple kids.
But here's the reality. The moms literally never forget ever.
I know.
It's always the dads. 100% of the time it's the dads.
Yeah.
But like I'm with you in that I'm generally really, really bad with those dates. But I've made a concerted effort to make sure like I gotta lock these shits down. And so I did it, but it's also like it was effort, right? Like it was a whole like I need to dedicate time. I got lucky because one of them is on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's clutch.
So
that helps.
February 14th.
Yep.
Super. The other one I got kind of lucky with another one because it's close to my mom's birthday.
That's nice
My
too.
mom is June 14th,
Yep.
and the other one is June 7th.
Yep.
Right. And then the other one I got kind of lucky because it's kind of like an easy date to remember. It's 3/3, so it's March 3rd.
That's nice.
And with Crystal, I got super lucky because hers some years falls on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so you kind of
November
got blessed with
24th.
dates. Yeah.
I got super lucky.
Yeah.
Because you know me, like,
Well, if
I can't remember shit.
I mean, but that can also throw you off too. If some years it's on Thanksgiving and some years it's not, because then you could rely on it like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, this is Crystal shit, and then it's not that year. It's like almost like that leap year thing where it's like, okay, this year it's going to be on February, whatever, and then in like it's 4 years later, it's like a whole different date. So if you're like, oh, Thanksgiving, this is Crystal shit, and it's like, no, not this Thanksgiving.
So here's a little trick on that one. If you give me tricks, bro, I can get it with tricks. Like you just got to give me tricks.
Yeah.
So it's November 24th,
Mhm.
right?
That's her birthday?
That's her birthday.
Okay.
Think about relate the number 24 to something right now. I bet you'll do
Kobe.
it really quick.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. Like literally there's always tricks. You know
That's a
what
good
made
one.
me finally remember your birthday?
Yeah.
You gave me this trick.
Yeah, this
and
one.
It's the most brilliant thing you've ever done because I'm never going to forget it again. Like since you told me this trick, it was like, I got it.
Yep.
Like now I have it every year.
Yep.
Now every year, July 15th,
Gotta
send you
make
that
my
text message.
calendar ahead. That's one
Neo
July
song.
15th. Yeah, I know that's a good one too.
Bro, that was it. Like if you gave me a trick, I'll always get it. It's sort of like, you know how when you're kids and you learn the ABCs, they
Yep.
do the song A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P.
Yeah, in a song helps.
I was telling Crystal, bro, I genuinely don't know if I can do the ABCs without the little jingle.
Yeah.
Like the jingle makes it. The
Yeah.
jingle is the thing that I'm actually remembering, and I just fit the words in after the fact. You know
That's why we remember like these weird ass like commercials that have like the most random songs from like when we were kids on like television stations.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they have like a catchy like 1-800 cars for kids, like anything that like anything that has like a thing to it that's catchy,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna remember it. So
100%.
I don't know if there's. I mean, there was I remember most of like the Central and South American capitals for like the countries or whatever, because in like first grade, I don't remember who my teacher was. I don't remember like if it was a boy or a girl, but they like sang it in a song that if you ask me any of those shits, I remember it. So like
That's amazing.
they should turn like elementary school into just straight
just
like
a song.
Yeah, like High School Musical.
100% because people will remember it.
Yeah,
You're making a good point. Like I'm wishing I knew the U.S. capitals because of a song.
Yeah.
Like if you had given me a song for that, I'd remember all the U.S. capitals.
Molly could do like I think a lot of people can do this. I think there's a song for like the presidents where you can like if you asked her, it's like John Roosevelt,
Right.
Lincoln.
Yep.
Like she sings it in a thing where like if you were to ask her like, hey, who was the whatever president? She'd be like, oh, I have no idea. But if she like sang it in her little tune, it's
She
a
would
rap.
get
She
to
could
it.
probably rattle off all the presidents.
Yeah, we need to like you're convincing me that we need to use the song trick for everything we possibly could use it for.
I mean,
Because people would remember everything.
you can. I mean, they have Broadway shows where they speak, and then they just have straight musicals. So why don't we have school options where it's like you could speak, or you could just go to like the singing school and then see
And
if the singing kids,
people would beat the other ones
Mad smart.
easy every time.
but that
every
would be
time.
like the most. Imagine going to a high school and everything was like a musical. Like, it was just like you walk into an
So-
earth science class and it was like the planets came over. They're like all this weird shit.
But it's got to be catchy, right? Like
It has to
that's
be
the
catchy.
thing. If you make it catchy, then we're good.
I do get a little
you
tired
can
of
make a bad song. It's possible.
but like too much singing. Like if I went to a musical, I'm almost at a point where I'm like, all right, slow down and just like say some words for a second, because like singing all the shit is too much.
I've been to a musical before. I find musicals so incredibly goofy. They really are just so goofy.
I
Like, what
think
are you doing, bro? Prancing around on stage, like act like a real like. Give me say some shit on some normal shit, like I'm watching a movie or something.
because it's
right?
not even
Like,
real life. You can't like that's what I'm saying. You don't walk down the streets like on some Mary Poppins like singing to everybody type of shit. Like you need some parts where you're like, hey, how you doing, man? And then get into your song. But like I think
Yeah, like
Hamilton
who's the
was like a
audience for
musical.
that? Hamilton was definitely a musical.
Yeah.
But like who's the audience? I'm thinking about it now. Like who's the audience for that? Like somebody sitting around like I'd really like for people to theatrically sing some shit that's like very we were kind of just saying we want people to sing everything, but it's different when it comes to a musical. Like I want to watch if I want to watch something, I want to watch some real like some documentary shit
Yeah.
or like something where you're acting and it's like convincing acting. Like I saw Denzel Washington on Broadway.
I know. I
That
was
was
tight. I
amazing.
think you and Henry went to go see that shit, and I was like,
And it was
"Damn, where was
incredible.
my ticket?"
It was incredible, right? But like, you know, for musicals, it's different. It's different. I actually I've gone with Crystal to see like some dancing shit before.
Yeah.
And that actually can be good because like they do things that are really impressive. Like they're kind of like gymnasts, right? And I'm like, oh shit, I kind of respect that. Like that dude just pulled off a crazy flip and then nailed a split and like did some crazy twist. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But again, musical, it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Like you could just say the thing you're singing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And get your point across the same way. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say like this is gonna be I think like I'm gonna talk out of both sides of my mouth because I think dancing and music is something that like I think naturally our body like just gravitates towards. Like if you put some music on for like a little baby, they're like gonna dance and move.
It's always funny, yeah.
But then on the other side of that, like there like you should be allowed to not have to dance at like weddings and shit like that. Like I was just at a wedding and I was just chilling and they're like everybody come out to the dance floor and like you stand out there to watch like the first dance or whatever. And then like the corny DJ or whatever is like, all right, now everybody's out here, like start dancing. And like he just expects everybody because you're there to like start dancing, but like you should also like have it's like a smoking and non-smoking section. Like you should make it cool for people to be like, it's cool if you don't want to dance too. Like sit down and like just clap your hands or something like that and like move side to side. Like don't make everybody dance at a wedding. Cause like I don't think I'm a dancer. Like I was out on the dance floor. I had a couple drinks. I was chilling. I was kind of like bopping back and forth. But like the DJ was standing behind me. Like the like all the like waiters and waitresses were standing off to the side, like ready to like fix your plates and shit. So they were standing behind me. And not that I care, but I'm like, I'm kind of dancing back and forth. And there was one dude who's like freaking it on the dance floor that I'm like, if they look at him, he's kind of killing it. And if they look at me, they're probably like, yeah, this dude's like, just go sit down. Like you should be in the sit down. You don't have to dance category. So I'm a little down on like dancing in general because it's like, I think everyone is like, dance, it's good. Like you'll be happy. But also I would have been happy if I was just sitting down and people were like, it's cool that you're sitting down. Cause it's like, we don't expect you to dance.
You cannot. So I agree with you because you cannot tell people to dance on command.
Yeah.
It's like that's like walking up to somebody and being like, "Hey, sing for me."
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not gonna sing on. It's also like walking up to somebody and saying, "Say something that makes me laugh."
Yeah.
Like, no, I can't. Like that's all
It's not
very
possible.
context dependent. Like
Yep.
it's got to be a natural joke that comes out in a natural setting that makes you laugh. I can't just right off the bat like that make you laugh.
Yep.
I can't sing a song out of nowhere. I can't dance out of nowhere. So it's funny you said that because me and Crystal were at a wedding recently, and it was the same thing, man. Like, look, okay, will I dance? There is a scenario where I would dance, but that scenario involves me taking some sort of upper drug, right? Like if you give me Adderall or something like that, like yeah, I'll start feeling like high as fuck, and I have no inhibitions, and I'll get out there and start dancing,
Yep.
like the old ass white man I now am,
Yep.
right?
Same.
But like if I've had nothing, if I've had no substances, and it's like go dance, it's like
Yeah, like everybody
I
out
don't
to
wanna
dance for like no. Like,
yeah,
you're
like I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
I don't want to do that.
Okay,
And it's
cool.
like, you know, I have that thing in my mind too. Like nobody actually gives a fuck. Like nobody's actually looking like, oh, is he dancing good? But in the back of your own mind, you're always like, I'm not trying to do something I'm terrible at.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna go out there, I want to be able to know I can hold my own.
Do some shit.
You know?
Yeah. Like we go play
Yeah,
basketball,
exactly.
you're like, all right, I can get a jump shot. Like I can shoot a jump shot and it looks kind of normal. I just like it doesn't like feel right moving around, you know? Like and I'm not a dancer. Maybe if I was a good dancer, I'd want to like be out there, but also like I don't it's not I'm not that interested in dancing.
And it's also like, you know, they could say, hey, go hit the dance floor, but then you're listening to the song and you're like, I don't like this
That's a
song.
good point
Like,
too.
I don't even like the genre,
Yep.
right? If you hit me with a song that I really like, maybe I'll just sit in my seat and start like bobbing my head, like, okay,
Yeah.
right? But it's one of those things where like your brother's a good dancer.
He's a mad good dancer.
I wonder if he would say it also depends on the music, right? Like if they're like everybody go to the dance floor and then they play like some 1940s ass trumpet orchestra music, right? Your brother would even be like, I'm not dancing to that shit.
I feel like he would still get out. Like he would. He's a weird one where he'd be like, I'll dance to this shit. But
yeah, I guess it's like since he's good at it, maybe he would go out for anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like he's good at it. Like he actually spent time investing in getting good at it. So now he has every reason to be like, yeah, fine, I'll go do it. This is what I do. Right?
You kind of have to like work your, even like when you work out, like you need to warm up. You need to like break a little sweat doing some like running shit first before you start hitting the heavy weights. So a good DJ should be like, I'm going to hit you with some shit that's like, hit me with the electric slide early so I feel comfortable on the dance floor. And then you could throw in a little like, take it to medium, take it to advanced, take it to like extreme by doing some shit where I'm like, all right, I'm out here. Maybe I'll try the next shit or I'll go sit down. But like yesterday, dude started with some like shit that I was like, you can't jump right into that and expect everybody to kind of freak it. Like,
so what was it? Do you remember?
It was like, I think it was just like some, like, I'm going out of my head and I've been doing just fine. Gotta like, you gotta kind of find a thing to that, you know? Because it's like, you can't like do jump, like luckily it was like an all white crowd, so like everyone didn't know what the fuck they were doing, but like some kids were like college age where they were like wilding out where it looked sloppy but like correct because they were just kind of like going crazy. But I was like, I don't even know which, like, where to go with this one. And he kind of stayed in that lane for a little bit. Then he switched it to some techno where it was just like, all right, if I just jump up and down and kind of spin around and shit, it looks like I'm fitting in. But if he started with the techno shit, then I could have found my round, like, for the, like, for that other basic shit, you know?
Yeah, but let me ask you, what do you think about like, a hard change in genre, right? Like, what do you think about they're playing that coming out of my cage and I'm doing just fine, and then they switch it over to some like disco from the 1980s, right? Like, because I'm of the belief that like sometimes you can't make like a massive downgrade in the song.
Yeah.
Like you can't go to one song where everybody's like, oh, this is my shit, and then you switch it to something where they're like,
I don't even. Yeah.
You got to match the energy, and if you're gonna switch genres, you got to do it like artfully.
Yeah,
you know.
That,
like, you can't just go hard change.
That's why it's kind of. I mean, it's you got to have a good DJ that knows like the same cadence of what he's switching his song to. It's important. Like when someone passes you the aux cord, driving or doing whatever, you got to feel the audience, see the audience, know what your switch is going to. So I mean, like people clown DJs, but there are good and bad DJs who know, like, all right, I'm going to switch from this shit to, I could go to the 90s with like some Smashing Pumpkins shit, but it has to be the same wavelength that people won't be like, nah, that's not even in the same category, you know?
Yeah, I remember for our wedding, I gave like a list of a bunch of songs that I liked, and the DJ was able to take that and say, okay, like for a time when people are seated, we can do these sorts of songs. For a time when they're on the dance floor, we can do those sorts of songs. So there was like an art to it, you know? It wasn't just like you can't just throw some smooth R&B and then put on like Cash Money after that.
No,
right? Like it's got to be cohesive the whole time. So it's interesting. Like music taste is interesting to me because our youngest, she like. Oh, so she like builds her playlist all the time. She'll hear a song and she'll be like, "Put that on my playlist," right? And so when I'm playing from my library, probably like 8 out of the 10 songs.
You're gonna hit her with some Juvenile, like back that
ass
stuff to
dude.
like.
I mean, look, only the ones I can play, I do play.
Yeah,
right?
some
or I'll
T.I.
get, like,
shit.
censored version. Yeah, but like, so she likes all of my songs except one genre, and anything that's 90s R&B.
Yeah.
She doesn't like.
Oh, I thought, and she rocks with like New Orleans, like grungy, old school Lil Wayne, like.
No, because those ones I gotta skip them when
Oh,
the
okay.
kids are in the car,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like they don't even like they don't make them clean enough where I could play it even if it's censored for those songs,
That
right?
song, the whole
Like
thing would be like, "Girl,
yeah,
let me
exactly. It's
back
bling
that."
bling. Like there's a curse every other 3 seconds, and yeah, like of course everybody knows that. But you're not gonna play "Back That Ass Up" with a kid in the car, right? Especially a young kid. But
Even when the
like
radio tried to like edit back to like back that thing up, it was
it's still like
like
it's just like everybody knows what's being said. Like
don't
you just can't do it.
yeah.
So, but it's funny to me because like I don't even understand how. So how could you like basically all of my music except 90s R&B, which is so crucial to my music?
That's a tough one. Yeah,
You know what? I don't get it. I don't understand because if I play some 2000s pop shit, she loves it. If I play some 2010s R&B, she loves it. But as soon as some 90s R&B comes on, she's like, skip. I'm like, what do you mean? How are you gonna skip Keith Sweat? Like Keith
yeah.
Sweat is freaking it.
I feel like that could. I don't know if that's a like a palette thing where it's just like maybe like they got to ease their way into Keith, like because that's like you got to really be feeling that one, and I'm maybe they'll come around on it. It's like wine. If you don't like wine, and then eventually like it grows on you, and then you start getting a little bit more sophisticated, where you're like, I'm gonna try this, and then once they start liking it, they're going like, I'm gonna drink some like old school wine, and like, and they start really
Yeah,
getting into like, I don't know, like Boys
I
to
think
Men
they have
shit.
to. I think they have to have some feeling of a connection to it in the
Yeah.
sense that, like, if you give me one of my songs that kind of has a similar sound to songs that come out today,
Mhm.
then they like it, right? And it's like, so it is very like time dependent,
Yeah.
you know? Like we were raised in the 90s, so we feel like that's the shit.
Yeah.
But to them, listening to 90s shit is like me and you listening to like 60s shit,
Yeah.
you know, or 70s. And so
Yeah.
it's like hit or miss for that era because we weren't really around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it is like if it's similar enough to shit you hear today, then it's like, yeah, I could rock with this. But if you change it just a little too much, then it's like this is unfamiliar to me. So
That's
I have
true.
no interest in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It could. I mean, yeah. I guess we have our ear is set to like that era. Like I guess certain like music was set a certain way in the '90s that we know how all of the like tones and whatever went. And to your point, yeah, I think as music progressed, as the years progressed, there's been different like changes in music that like if it's totally off for them, they'll just dismiss it right away. Same way with us, like if we hear some 1960s, 1970s shit and it's like the Temptations or like Frankie Valli and it's just like a high ass like pitched voice or you're like, is that a boy or a girl? We're like, nah. Although some of it is good where it's just like sweet pretender, like that stuff it all is the same tone. So if like you don't like that, automatically you're gonna be like, it just sounds old.
Bro, my sixth grader is obsessed with the Drake and Kendrick beef.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Like he went deep on that,
He kind of like
and
killed his whole career. Like Drake
Drake,
hasn't
you
been
think Drake
found.
did?
Yeah, Drake is just like nowhere to be found now.
I mean, I don't know a single person who thinks Drake like won
Oh no,
that beef. You know,
that one song. I just saw it was up for like 5
not like
Grammys.
us,
Yeah,
not like us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like song of the year, like video of the year, like everything. It's been up for one song. Just wild.
I'll tell you though. You know what's crazy? The songs that are most listen toable
Mhm.
after that beef are so there's three obviously. Not Like Us is number one.
Mhm.
That's Kendrick's, right? But the other two most listenable songs are Push Ups by Drake
Mhm.
and Family Matters by Drake. Those are the ones that actually sound like really appealing. I'm not saying the other Kendrick disses aren't good because they are,
Yeah,
but they're good in a different way. They're good in a like, this is a diss track. You're tearing him apart, but I'm not going to put this shit on repeat.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'm not going to listen to 616 in LA a bunch of times or even Euphoria a bunch of times. Like the ones that you're going to listen to over and over, Not Like Us, number one, and then Family Matters and Push Ups. And so, in a sense, Drake has more songs coming out of that are like repeat listenable but
That's
he
true.
still got bodied. Like everybody acknowledges he got bodied. And that's a weird place to be in. And then he's been trying to like get back, but like nobody even cares what he says anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just saw he just did like a photo shoot with all of his boys, and like everyone was clowning him. He can't really show his face anymore without even like comments on everything going crazy of like, yo, chill, like Kendrick killed you. I mean, it's like impressive to do that. I'm at like so like people try and find one-liners and zingers to like end rap beefs, but I think clearly everyone like to your point, you can say that Drake had better songs, but you can't say that he won the battle, you know?
Yeah, because Kendrick, like, it was chess and it wasn't checkers.
Yeah.
And Kendrick just outmaneuvered him.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about it. So let's think of the timeline. So the first one that came out was Push Up. Well, no. Like That was technically first. It's that song by Future and Metro Boomin, and Kendrick had a verse on it.
I don't even know any of those, so I'm impressed that you know like all of the like shits.
Like, I'm surprised. You used to be more in touch with like the modern music than me.
Yeah.
I guess I leapfrogged you on that front.
Yeah, I saw like the songs that like Family Matters. I know. Push Up. I don't even remember. One had like the OJ glove. Which one was that?
The one that had that
wasn't
was
like their OJ glove on the cover.
Yeah, that wasn't that the Kendrick diss of
yeah, he
Drake?
might have did that one. Yep.
Because he had a whole bunch of Drake's items on the cover to show him like there's a mole in your camp and your boys actually like me more than you.
Yeah.
Right. So that was that. But so the order was Like That, which was just like a super popular song.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even a diss track. It was like Kendrick had one verse in there, and in that verse he says, "Motherfuck the big three, there's only Big Me."
Yep.
So that was basically like a middle finger to J. Cole and to Drake. And then Drake fired back with Push Ups, which everybody, in retrospect, everybody acknowledges like that's a good song, number one. Number two, he actually landed some blows on Kendrick there. Everybody was like, damn, like Kendrick kind of has to respond now.
Yep.
And then after that, Kendrick didn't even respond yet. Right after that, Drake released, remember, I don't know if you remember this, he released like a AI song where he's on it with Tupac and Snoop Dogg.
I think so, but didn't people think that was like fake? Or it was fake?
Well, it was. I mean, it literally was fake because Snoop Dogg's alive, but Tupac's dead, so obviously couldn't be with like actual Tupac. It was an AI song, like, and Drake like did the rapping for those parts, but put the AI voice changer over it, so it sounded like Tupac was on it.
So he really did it, and then brought the AI for Tupac and like Snoop.
Correct.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Right. So, but then apparently he had to pull that down because there were like copyright problems. But anyway, it was after that. Then Kendrick first responded. I think that was with Euphoria. And then Kendrick released another one, I think. Maybe that was 616 in LA. And then Drake released Family Matters, which was the thing is Family Matters was Drake's biggest like hit on Kendrick.
Yep.
And then within like 30 minutes of that song dropping, Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams, which was just basically lyrical murder. Like he raps to everybody in Drake's family and addresses like his mom and says, your son should kill himself. He's like a predator and he's a horrible person. And then he goes and lists like, Adonis, his son. He claims that Drake has a daughter that it was a secret daughter or whatever, but apparently that's like not true, but he thought it was true.
Motherfucker did some crazy ass like 21andMe research.
It was diabolical, bro.
But like in a half an hour, he did all that.
And then, the thing is he did have a mole in Drake's camp. So he knew when Family Matters was going to drop. And what he did is he had that song ready to go. Oh. And maybe he went in for 5 minutes after Drake dropped his song. Kendrick went in and added like one line to update it, to make it sound like he just recorded it and dropped it immediately. It was genius. It was honestly genius. And so like he killed you on that. And then after he dropped the darkest song I've ever heard in my life, then he drops Not Like Us and that's playing in the clubs and everybody loves it. And so it was like, Drake just got outplayed, and then at that point, like if you're Drake, you just got to hold the L. You can't like release another fucking song. Yeah. Now. Like you can't release another diss track.
Oh, did he release anything after Not Like Us, or he like kind of was like I lost on this one?
So I don't think Drake released any diss of Kendrick after Not Like Us, but he did hint that like I lost the first round, but like there's gonna be a second round. There was something like that he said, and it's like, bro, don't like.
There's no more rounds. Like you got TKO'd.
That's it. Like, just there's nothing you could do. And I mean, look, so anyway, my sixth grader is obsessed with the Kendrick Drake beef, and then I was getting him into other rap beefs throughout history. And so here's a funny story. The other day I was trying to go through like, East Coast, West Coast beef. So like Tupac against Diddy
Yep.
or Puff Daddy at the time and Biggie. And I was like, damn, what's that very famous song that Tupac did? And I was like, oh, it's Hit 'Em Up, I think it's called, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I
First
look it
off,
up.
fuck you, bitch, and the click you like rap or
So
something.
so now remember, guys, he's in 6th grade, right?
Oh, the
And I was
lyrics.
like, I want him to hear the Tupac diss. So here, let me press play on it. And the shit starts. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker.
Do you let it play
like,
after that, or you like, let me end this real quick?
I let it play.
You let it rock.
Me and him have an agreement. I mean, Crystal knows about it, but I joke around with him. I'm like, look, when your sister's in the car, his younger sister's in the car,
Yeah.
and when mom's in the car, we're not going to play the songs that have the curses.
Yeah.
But I said, look, when you're in the car with me, we can listen to those songs, but you need to not repeat those words and not tell anybody that we're listening to these songs. And Crystal knows about it, but it's like, look, it's one of those things where he's really interested in rap beef. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm going to feed him what he's interested in, right? Like, this is what he likes. I also did, I don't know if you remember this one, Corin. You remember 50 Cent versus Jadakiss?
Yeah. They had Epic, and then 50 had a thing with Kanye too that was like big. 50.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Kanye had a thing. Someone had I don't know if it was Kanye and R. Kelly had a CD that came out at the same time, or 50 and R. Kelly had a CD that came out at the same time. But someone was beefing between if it was 50 and R. Kelly or 50 and Kanye. But they all had CDs like dropping at the same time. But yeah, I remember, who was it? 50 and who'd you say?
50 and Jadakiss.
Jadakiss.
So 50 released a song called Piggy Bank. I don't even know what started the beef between 50 and Jadakiss. I got to read like a Wikipedia page on it.
Oh, wasn't like Lloyd Banks involved with that? And they said that he was like some type of homosexual or transgender or something. Didn't they try and call him out on something crazy?
I don't remember Lloyd. I mean, look, I think Jada was beefing with all of G Unit.
Yeah.
So I think like maybe, but
I think there's something on that where if it was like Lloyd Banks or someone they said was like transgender, and he was like, "What?
No,
how did I catch that straight?"
So Young Buck actually.
Oh, maybe Young Buck.
G Unit. He was just allegedly he's either friends with or dating some trans person, and that just became like a world star hip hop story. But the other one is, you remember Bobby Valentino, who had so many bangers that I still listen
Bobby
to?
Valentino. Wow,
he was one. He's one who's definitely interested in trans women.
Oh, really?
And then there's all these stories have come out since then, and some have like really put him on blast. There's like a video of him running out of the home of some trans woman, like with his pants in his hand and his underwear.
Well, that's my whole thing. My whole thing with the whole the whole Diddy thing and just celebrities in general. I was talking to Molly about this, and she kind of thinks that like once you're in that upper echelon of just like celebrity, there's like some weirdness that's going on with all of them, where it's like guy on guy, like just a crazy world that like we never know about, that you would think like, oh, Diddy's not messing with Meek Mill, but like maybe that stuff is going on at some like weird type of level. So I don't know. It's like maybe when you just have like an absurd amount of money and you've done everything, you've been with like as many girls as possible, you're like, let me try being with a guy, or let me try like doing some weird thing with the transgender, something like, I don't know. But I feel like you can kind of hit your max on like women or whatever and just start venturing into like trying everything, where you're like, hey, we got one life to live, like let's get weird.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on that. I'm really of the belief that people like what they like, and it's sort of set in stone.
Okay.
So anybody who's messing with, if anybody who's gay or is interested in trans women or trans men or whatever it is, like they've always kind of had a thing for that.
Okay.
And the reason I think that is because I know me personally, like my tastes sexually have literally never changed.
Yeah.
They're literally the exact same from when I started to go through puberty until today. It's the same things that make me feel that way.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so I feel like that's probably the case for everybody. But to your point, you're making the argument that like there's some secret society shit where they're having orgies and doing all sorts of creepy stuff.
I feel like
and,
you've
they
just
have dirt on each other, and that is true.
yeah
And the thing is, like, so I read all the articles. I had to, I covered the Diddy thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
read all the articles on it, and like, bro, the charges against him and the claims that are being made against him are wild. So first of all, do you remember a video came out like a year ago or so of Diddy straight up beating Cassie's ass in
Oh
a
yeah, I
hotel
remember
lobby.
that. Yep.
He ran out of the door in a towel and started wailing on Cassie.
Yep.
And so when that video came out, because at first he was, denying it. Then the video comes out, and then all of a sudden he's there and he's apologetic and, it was a rough time in my life and I'm better now and I'm getting help and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And the second that video came out, it was like, all right, if this dude is capable of doing that shit I just watched with my own two eyes, he's capable of way worse than that.
Yep.
Like, this is probably one of hundreds of times that he beat Cassie's ass. There were stories of he was sitting at a dinner table with other celebrities, and Cassie said something he didn't like, and he fucking hit her right there. Like, that was one of the things that was reported.
Well, supposedly, I heard like that she broke out of the room, like snuck out of the room to like, and that's when he like chased her down and like hit her or whatever.
Yeah. On some demon shit. Like, you're going to beat this woman in the hallway with security cameras around? Like, what? You must think you're invincible. And that's the thing. Like, when you actually read through the stuff he's charged with. So, the famous story now that everybody's talked about is, I don't know if you read this, but he put a bomb in Kid Cudi's car and it exploded.
What?
Because Kid Cudi was dating Cassie at the time, or like they went on one date together or something. And so Diddy was like, I'm going to blow this dude's car up.
What the fuck?
And he blew his car up. They got guns where they scratch off like the registration number on the shit, which that's classic sign of like, you're using it for crimes, right?
Yeah.
He's charged with like human trafficking.
Yeah. I mean,
So that's like, they bring women to the freak offs, his wild ass sex parties. Some of them are underage. They drug them. He allegedly has cameras in every room in his house, and then he has all these celebrities over, and some of the celebrities are doing God knows what behind the door. Now, they're saying that he's got, there was somebody shopping around a video of something that an A-list celebrity was doing sexually behind closed doors, and somebody was able to get their hands on one of the freak-off videos, and they were shopping it around. And, like, the way they go on to explain it, the A-list celebrity they're talking about is one of two people. These are the only people that I've narrowed it down to these two. It's either Usher or it's Justin Bieber. So think about how much shit he has on video. I mean, LeBron's partied with him.
All these people have come out and said like Diddy parties are crazy. Like,
and it's like, what was really going on? It was on some Jeffrey Epstein shit.
Yeah, it's wild.
Jeffrey Epstein had dirt on the rich and the powerful and the politicians and the Wall Street bankers, and Diddy is the same shit, just in the music industry.
Do you think they'll actually, like, I'm always skeptical. Like, I saw one, I don't know if it was a district attorney or someone, but was like, when this list comes out, like, do you think I don't think they'll ever come out with an actual list of people. Like, they'll come out with a list of people that were at his party. But I don't think we'll ever see like hard facts of like Jay-Z was in this room doing that and this. Like, I don't know. I just think now it's at a point where it's so wild where it's like, even on Twitter, there was like his old bodyguard was like, I saw him doing weird stuff with Meek and all this stuff. And it's like anyone could say anything now, where it gets so like, it's so crazy where you're like, is that true or is that not true? Like, what's true?
Well,
like,
they got audio of that one, right?
But like, that's my point. Where like, is the audio really audio? Like, how do you know it's?
I mean, look, it sounds like him. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, it sounds like Diddy and Meek Mill. Like
if I was Diddy, I would just be like, everything's AI. I would be like, that wasn't me.
Look, that's the only move he has is to be like, well, he's gonna have to fight the charges that are like on the illegal guns and on the stuff they have hard evidence for, right? But like outside of that, his only defense is gonna be like, everything was consensual and it was just a big party and it was an orgy and everybody was having fun, right? But I think they have too much evidence. And by the way, to your point, there's an attorney who said the point you made that like, we got a list and the people that are on this list are going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
And that attorney is allegedly representing a bunch of the victims of Diddy who have come forward. And I think those people want to sue Diddy in civil court. So it's not related to the criminal trial, but it's like over similar things.
Yeah.
And so the attorney is saying, because of these people who are victims of Diddy who are talking to me and want to sue Diddy, they've provided me the list of people who were at the freak-offs and who were allegedly committing crimes. So that list will probably come out. But to your point, will a bigger list, official list, come out like from the federal government where, hey, we have all the tapes, we know everybody who was involved, etc.? That's hard to believe simply because of we had Jeffrey Epstein was doing the same shit. He was the CEO of like Elite Sex Crimes Incorporated.
Yeah.
And this dude ended up dead in a jail cell. And they say he killed himself, but nobody believes that. Yeah. He obviously was killed. I mean, they said the freaking video camera, the security video camera in the hallway stopped working that night. Like what are we doing here, bro? Like, obviously that's not true.
And there was only one camera in like a maximum security prison or whatever.
So honestly, there's a decent chance that Diddy ends up dead, and then they say, "Oh, it was suicide."
That would be
not
crazy.
Suicide. That's what happened to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, I know.
Right? It's very possible, and I guarantee you they would say it's suicide, and I guarantee you it wouldn't be suicide.
So is he in prison right now?
Yeah, jail. He's in jail.
Oh, jail. Yeah. That's wild to me, man. I mean,
no bail. He didn't get any bail. He's stuck. He's there. He's stuck there. He's not going anywhere.
I don't know if this guy was really his lawyer, but he tried to say that like he had a lot of baby oil because there was a Costco down the street from him.
That dude was his lawyer.
That was his lawyer.
And did you see Costco responded?
Did they?
Costco was like, bitch, we don't even sell baby oil.
Someone tried to say that like Johnson & Johnson was going to hurt from this. I was like, yo, this is like the best day ever for Johnson & Johnson. Like, you know how many people are going to like go buy baby oil just to like try and do whatever they think Diddy was doing with it? Like, there's going to be Halloween costumes of people dressed up as Diddy holding baby oil. Like, it's going to be like, there's going to be Taylor Swift and then there's going to be Diddy costumes. Like,
bro, did you know that one of the claims against Diddy is that he had Tupac killed?
That's wild. I think I did read that, or like someone from Tupac's family was trying to like say that he was. I mean, it's not like crazy to think that like he was beefing with him, and he probably got Biggie killed. So like, why not take out Pac too if you could do it?
Yeah, Eminem actually said it too when him and Machine Gun Kelly were like dissing each other.
Yeah,
Eminem's response to Machine Gun Kelly at the end of it. He's like, the day you put out a hit is the day that Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac killed.
Oh, wow.
And then at the end, he says, like, oh, I'm just playing Diddy. You know, I love you, but that's just him trying to avoid a lawsuit. So, I mean, yeah, Lord only knows what that dude was capable of, bro. The other thing is people speculate that he actually killed one of his baby mamas, the one who lived across the street from me.
Is she?
Remember?
Is she not alive anymore?
No, she's dead. She's dead, bro. And she died young of like, I don't know what they said, like pneumonia or something like that. And the speculation was he had her poisoned. That's why she ended up dying so young. Yeah, I know. Like, the deeper you go on it, the more you're like, holy shit, it's insane that this dude got away with so much for so long.
Someone was telling me that like that Ashton Kutcher is like really connected to it, and that like I don't know if this is true or not. And I like again, I want to not believe all these crazy stories because I'm also like. It's just so hard to believe, but supposedly like Ashton Kutcher went to like some lady's house on a date, and I'm butchering the story, but like the lady ended up being like murdered later or something like that. Like there's some crazy stuff on Ashton Kutcher that like I think he could be someone that like goes down, but I don't know. All I know is if Usher goes down, I'll be okay with it because I went to his concert and I got my like Usher off before he got caught up in anything. And that was one of the like Usher's one of the artists that like I know all of his shits too. Like you too. Like
I know he's so good.
Like his dance moves, like that's one like if you're not a dancer, ask Kyle to like show you his Usher shit if you still have it in you. But like you would freak some of the Usher moves of like how he would like
I teach the kids how to glide. Yeah, the glide.
Yeah, like the glide move.
Yeah.
But like Usher was iconic. So if he goes down, I could die a happy man because I saw him. Bro,
I didn't get to see him yet, though.
If he's performing anywhere by you, you have to go to that shit. He was all his bangers. Busta Rhymes came out. Jadakiss came out. I was in heaven.
Yeah, and he's one of those. He just has so many hits that are
So many.
so good. Like he's just all his songs are just so good. But so I want to go to an Usher concert. Did
Have
you
to.
know? I don't know if I told you. I've literally never been to a concert in my life.
For real?
Ever. I've never been to a concert in my life.
Oh.
And so the very first, me and Crystal are going to a Justin Timberlake
Oh,
concert
right. Yeah, that's coming up, right?
coming up really soon. So I'm interested how that's going to be. I don't know if he's just going to do like mostly his new album or if he's going to do like original ass shit too.
I went to
But
that one.
like,
He does some of his new shit. There's a lot of songs that I didn't really know. Like he didn't do any of his NSYNC shit. Um, it was cool. There's a couple that you can like kind of sing along to, but like he didn't hit all of his bangers. Some of
yeah,
them.
well, I can't. I don't expect him to do that because he's another one that has like 48,000 bangers. So I don't
Yeah,
expect that. But so I'm looking forward to that. But I told you when you went to the Usher concert, I was like, I'm jealous because like that is on the top of my list of concerts to go to.
that's one.
To go to an Usher concert would be amazing.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
Concerts are tough though too because it's like they expect you one to know all of their shit. So it's like I feel like even Usher, there was a couple that I didn't know like all the words to that like you could sing
mm.
kind of the choruses, but then like you look to your left and your right, and there's like girls that know literally every part of the song. So you're like, like you try and go with it. But other artists that like I feel like people go to Jelly Roll concerts and they're like tweeting after like, oh my god, this changed my life. Blah, blah. Like, there's no way you know all of his shits because he only had like one or two bangers that you could have learned all the words. Like this is what they clown LeBron on. Every time like someone will come out with a new song, like they think he knows every single word to it. But it's impossible to know like what if Jelly Roll hit you with some shit that he sung while he was like in prison that you don't even know? You can't sing all their songs, so there's got to be an awkward moment at the concert where you're like not singing or like back to our point of dancing, like awkwardly dancing, and then you got to go home and be like, yeah, his concert was dope, but there was a couple songs that I didn't really know, and it was a little weird, like because like everyone was kind of like trying to figure out the words of the song, and so it's like okay, so there's some moments of the concert that aren't that good.
But it's also like how many artists are there where you literally know every song?
That's what I'm
You
saying.
know?
That's why it's like
Yeah.
concerts are. I mean, it's like a sporting event though too. It's like you can go for like you go to an NBA game and you can watch 5 possessions in a row where they miss baskets and stuff like that. But then there's moments where it's like
Right.
LeBron will dunk it. That's Usher's nice and slow. There's a
You're
game
right.
winner
Yeah.
that's like Little John comes out and sings yeah. So there's going to be ups and downs at a concert. I'd say there's more downs at a concert that there is like a sporting event or some shit. I'm not a fan of concerts like you. I hadn't been to a lot, but just this past couple of years, I had started going to just from my job. I had gotten some tickets, so like I was able to go. But you're like Jed. Like Jed's like I was like, yo, you want to come to the Justin Timberlake concert? He was like, kind of not really. Like I could just like put on Apple Music some of his songs, like
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it literally because I've never been to a concert. I'm
yeah,
curious what it's like, but low key, I might hit you with a boomer ass take right now. I I feel like I might be that one dude that's like, the music's a little too loud. You should lower the volume a little bit. I'm like this when you're in a restaurant or you're in a bar and it gets too loud. Like I feel like I'm that dude who's like, man, they really should turn this down a little bit. Like I'm super particular about the volume level. Like even if I'm in the car with the kids, like
yeah.
I'm always the one that controls the shit,
Mhm.
and I'm always like, no, this shit needs to be on 11. Period. I don't want 12. I don't want 10. I want 11.
But
You know what
depending
I'm
on your
saying?
mood, could you ever hit it with like some like I'm gonna crank this all the way?
Oh yeah, it depends on the mood, right?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like there are times I'll hit it with a 19 or a
Yeah.
21 or something, but like windows are probably down in that scenario. You know, like
Yeah.
there's like everything's got to come together, and I might be that dude in the concert. And again, I love Usher, I love Justin Timberlake. Like these are things I would look forward to going to their concerts, but yeah, I could see myself being like, "Damn, Crystal is kind of loud in here."
I feel there are the Timberlake one for me was like we were kind of sitting far back, like we were in a good
Mm.
spot, like we could see, but it was kind of like far.
Mhm.
And when you're far away and he's singing some shit, it's even worse because it's like you can't even really see him. Like I don't think loud was an issue, but it was like kind of just the like distance where I was
Mhm.
like I could kind of see him on stage. You can't really hear the music too well because it's kind of far. that's why, like, if you sit all the way up top at like a concert, I feel like you kind of like, it's like, just stay home at that point. Like, there, there's no, it's the same thing as, I don't know. I think being too far away at a concert for me is kind of like, don't even go to the shit, because you can't like
Yeah.
feel the music. If you're gonna go to a concert, you're going because you want to feel like the music, and there's no
Yeah, no.
connection to feeling that shit if you're sitting all the way the fuck up top.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like that about a lot of sporting events. Like everybody knows how much I like golf, and I've been to like a bunch of golf events.
Yeah.
But the key to go to golf events is always go on the Thursday or the Friday
Mm-hmm.
because you get the full field. They cut half the field
Yep.
after 2 days, so you want to make sure you see all the players. What happens if one of the big players misses the cut and you go Saturday or Sunday? You're not going to see him. So you go Thursday or Friday, and by the time Sunday rolls around, when the day when it finishes, like your ass needs to be on the couch watching it on TV, because when you're on the course, you could like post up at one hole and you see people coming up one hole, but you don't even know about the drama that's going on with somebody making a charge 3 holes back or whatever it is.
Yep.
And even, I love basketball too, but even basketball games, like most of the time I'm just trying to like be in my underwear, eating a snack, watching it in my bedroom with the lights off. Right.
I feel that.
Like
I want to do that
every
doing
now and then
everything.
you might want to go.
That that is like my life. I want to.
That's getting older, bro. That's what it is. You just want to do that all the time, right?
I just want, like, every time Molly's doing some shit around the house, like cleaning or like just doing something to like get our house prepped or in order or take care of the family, like I'll just find myself on the couch watching TV. So I'm like, fuck. And then she'll be like, "Can you go do?" And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want. Like, I'm kind of like, I kind of hate on people who are like gamers sitting there like just talking on their headphones, but I kind of respect the hell out of it, because it's like they're comfy, they're chilling, their lights are dim, like they're playing their game.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, Crystal would tell you that for me, it's a foregone conclusion that I am useless in the morning.
Yeah.
Like in the morning, I'm just useless because I fall asleep later than everybody in the house. And so I wake up later than everybody in the house. And I'm one of those people where when I wake up, I can't just pop right out of bed and start doing shit.
Yeah.
I need like a solid 30 minutes or an hour to let my body like wake up and
Get acclimated.
start moving. Like I'll have caffeine the second I wake up, and I still got to lay there for 30 minutes or an hour before I can really pop up and start doing shit. And so in the mornings, like, yeah, I'm sure she looks at me like, you fucking bum. Like you're laying there. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since like 6:30. I did laundry and dishes.
Well, she's
and
a
this
beast.
and that.
Doesn't she like exercise early? Like anyone who works out
She's
early,
a morning person.
Yeah.
She's a morning person. So when she wakes up, she's up. Like
Yeah.
she's up. She'll pop right up. She'll start doing stuff. No problem. But like, look, it's vice versa. It's night and day for me and her. So like, yeah, I'm useless in the morning, but when nighttime rolls around, I'm way more wide awake. And if something needs to be taken care of later,
yeah,
like, yeah, I could handle that, right? But if it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, it's just you're asked out if you're trying to get me to do shit. Like I'm still a zombie. I barely understand the words people are saying. Like I'm just not there. As the day goes on, I get more and more awake. That's how it works for me.
Yeah, your
so
body
like right before I go to bed, I'm the most awake.
Yeah.
Most people, they'll either start out when they wake up, it's like their energy goes like this and then they decline the whole day.
Yep.
Or they'll do like almost like a pyramid, like it'll go up in the middle and then down towards the end. For me, it goes like this. Goes up, 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 and then I fall asleep. But like I'm peaking energy later.
I feel like that's a good progression, right? I'd rather like a steady like incline than like a just straight shot at the beginning and then down to like down. Like,
I mean, it
right?
depends.
It's like the stock market. You want the shit to be going up.
But it depends, because then when it's time to go to sleep, it's like I need to sort of find tricks to force myself to go to sleep because I'm feeling awake.
Yeah.
Right. So like, got to take some melatonin, got to turn the lights off, got to make sure if I got my laptop on my lap, I got the brightness on the screen all the way down. Like it's work to coax myself into going to sleep.
That's true.
Whereas with other people, I'm jealous of you.
I could fall the fuck asleep anywhere.
Crystal has the same thing you do, that she could be anywhere and shut her eyes and she'll be asleep.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, are you kidding me? Like I'll shut my eyes in bed at 12 o'clock at night and it's still 25 minutes before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? So it's just, we're all wired differently,
Yeah. I'll have like 5 minutes before I have to pick up like one of my daughters from something. I'm like, I could close my eyes for like 3 of these minutes and just like get up, and then it'd be like
Wait,
half an
so
hour later.
you told me red lights before. You've done that,
Bro, I was just
and
saying.
Molly got pissed at you. Molly was like, "What the
She
fuck is
said I
wrong
was
with you,
sleeping
bro?"
because like I turned my eyes to someone who was like in the lane next to me, and they were like trying to get my attention to wake up. I do this. I don't do it as much when I'm driving with the kids in the car, but I'll play a game where I'll look in the rearview mirror to see how close to my eyes can get closed before I have to like pull over and like sleep or something like that.
That's
I've
so
gotten
fucking
better.
dangerous. Don't do that, bro.
I've gotten better. This like Molly put me onto this like Celsius thing. I was driving. I had one of those. It woke me right up. And I usually don't drink like energies or like. Remember, like 5 Hour Energy was like the first. I feel like they were the first to like have that little ass bottle, and
Yeah,
they're
the
like
shot.
drink.
Yeah.
But I never really drank that. But I didn't know if any of those worked. But like I drank this, and it kind of like woke me up a little bit. Like coffee doesn't wake me up. Any of those other energy like Monster, any of that stuff. But like this one was pretty good, and it like I was falling asleep, had a sip, and I was like good money the rest of the drive.
Let me see it. What is it? Like, is it an energy drink technically or no?
It
Peach.
says I think it essential energy accelerates
Oh, geez.
metabolism, burns body
Are
fat.
you drinking that right now?
Yeah, I just finished it.
And will you be able to go to sleep after
Yeah,
you
I
drink
could.
that?
Yeah, hell yeah, I could fall
That's
asleep like
amazing.
once my head hits the pillow. But it's like my body's gotten so used to like I'll put the kids to bed, I'll like clean up a little bit, sit on the couch, fall asleep, and then I have to wash Molly's like pump parts because she's still pumping milk. So I'll have to wake back up, clean her shits, and then I'll watch TV for a little more and go back to sleep. So like my sleep cycle is all like I always try to look at when like someone's like this dude was 114 years old and then died, and then someone's like 60 and dies or whatever. I'm like, well, what's the difference between like why that person lived so long, and there is no rhyme or reason. I feel like your body is just going to live to whatever age, pending you don't like get into a car crash or some like someone shoots you or some crazy shit. Your body's just going to do whatever your body was born with, like you know.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly feels like that sometimes, especially when somebody so healthy dies so young, and somebody so unhealthy like Trump is still like
Yeah, that's what I'm
kicking.
saying. Like one lady was
Yeah.
like 100 and something. She was like, I drank Dr. Pepper every single day. Like I don't think there's any like obviously. I mean, I don't even know. Like I feel like you could just. It sounds crazy, but like eat whatever, do what you want, and your body's just gonna do what it does. You know, like to an
That is
extent. Like you
ultimate
can't go
YOLO
extreme.
philosophy.
Yeah, like you can't. I mean, you can't OD. Like we're gonna like we'll probably die young with the shit we eat, but like because I think we're at the extreme. Well, not we're not even at the extreme. We're not like supersized me guy who like he probably died because he had that moment where he was just eating all of his shit.
Well, look, I think genetics is a big part of it, right?
Yeah,
Like that's kind of what you're getting at is like whatever the programming is in your genes. Like if you have, there's this thing called telomeres, and like the longer your telomeres are in your body, the longer you live, and so people just naturally might have high telomere, like big telomeres,
oh,
and
I hope I got a
like
big ass telomere.
there's definitely something to that. But then the other idea is like along with that, if you eat decent food, stay on a decent sleep schedule, like try to exercise a certain amount, like then those people will lengthen their life on top of whatever their genetic predisposition is. So yeah, like there's things all over the spectrum. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, for us, I mean, sometimes you feel like on a day where you're really fucking busy and really tired, and you didn't sleep well the last night, you haven't been eating well, you're I would think like, how did anybody live to forget 100? How did anybody live to like 80?
Yeah,
Like I can't do this every day. Like what are we talking about? This is insane. I want to just like sleep for a week right now.
and even sleeping a couple hours, like for 80 years or however long, someone like even 85, it's like that can't make up the difference of like how stressed and how tired I was during those 8 hours or 9 hours I was awake. You know, like it's got like it being awake, tired, and stressed has to take more on your body than like going to sleep. I don't fucking know.
How Do you feel like you only sleep like what 5 hours a night or something crazy like
I
that?
feel like I get good sleep. I mean, I'll go to sleep at, I don't know, like 11, 12. That's 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 hours of sleep. Is that good?
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I get
Especially
like,
with kids as young as you have them, like that's sort of ideal when you have that many kids.
I got to
You
get up
know?
at 6:30, and just the other day, my daughter's teacher sends me a fucking. She put a note in my daughter's lunchbox, and she's young. She's like a teacher's aide, but it said, like your daughter is complaining because you give her the same snack every single day. I'm like, like, I'm like, bitch. One, let my daughter tell me, and two, you get up at 6:30 every morning and make her a snack and lunch every single day. I'm gonna grab a bag of popcorn and I'm gonna put that shit in her bag, and that's what her snack's gonna be. And if she got a problem with that, then we could talk about it.
That's so crazy that she just wrote that and sent it to you.
Yeah,
Like,
she said she was complaining. I was like, the popcorn
so
is
let
kind
her
of banging. I'll
complain.
eat that every day.
Yeah, you love that popcorn, the white cheddar shit. You love
Yeah.
that shit
Oh,
so
white
much.
cheddar used to
Yeah.
be. I used to come home, eat a bag of like white cheddar and Cool Ranch while I was in bed watching like Sports Center, and I would just fall asleep, wake up a couple hours later, and then continue on with my night. I could live
So you ate.
on potato chips. Like it's insane. My new ones now are the honey barbecue, like the like
Oh, you've always loved those. You've
yeah.
always loved
But
honey barbecue.
you throw
Yeah.
some of those. This one fucked me up a little bit. Was like when Boar's Head kind of was going down. I thought they were gonna I thought like they were gonna get caught up in the Diddy case, but they've kind of made like a revival and they're back now. But like
Boar's Head,
yeah, Boar's Head was like they were
the
trying to
the meat
cancel
the
Boar's Head
meat
hard.
company,
Yeah,
the meat company.
yeah, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
How was that? How were they related to Diddy at all?
No, I was they were trying to bring them in to like to cancel them, but like they beat the charges. They're back now. But like they had a couple
What the
meets.
fuck did Boar's Head do? That was the.
No, they had a couple
What could they
meets
do?
that like
They
the
didn't
news
rape
stations
anybody.
they were killing people. There was I think it was like I don't know if it was their baloney or something, but Boar's Head was like you didn't hear that Boar's Head was like there was people dying all over because of Boar's Head?
Oh no, but that okay, it was the fault of the government for deregulate, like Trump deregulated deli meat, and
Oh,
that's
for
what
real?
happened. Yeah, Trump deregulated deli meat
Oh, I thought
and
they had
let
like a
them.
grimy ass factory or some shit like
Well, I
that.
mean, they did, but
Oh,
it's supposed to be the government is supposed to regulate that to make sure the shit is safe. And Trump
oh,
got rid of the rules. Trump said, "I'm going to get rid of." Like, basically, he let them self-regulate. He let them say,
oh,
like, "Oh yeah, everything's good. Don't worry. Don't look over here." And then when they self-regulated, 57 people got sick and went to the hospital, and 9 people died because of listeria in the meat. So people
damn.
got sick from it. But yeah, like that's what happens when you leave businesses to like look after their shit. They're going to cut corners and they're going to sell the shit and they're just going to hope nothing bad happens.
Yeah,
But bad shit happened.
damn.
Yeah,
Well,
that's some Trump shit.
I feel like Trump did so much like bad stuff that like I mean like I don't even know what's going on with Biden right now, but like he's you know getting like he's the one getting the finger pointed at for all of the shit that Trump did bad. Like even the wall stuff, they like complain about the wall, but it was like Trump that like didn't finish building a wall, and like a lot of immigrants are coming in. I don't know. I
2%. It was yeah, he built like 2% of the wall. But I mean, there's plenty of shit to blame Biden for, but to your point, there's a lot of shit that like they have long-term effects and
yeah.
consequences, right? Like even this colossal hurricane that's about to hit Florida, like
Is there
Trump
another
pulled
one
out of the
coming
Paris climate. Yeah, another one is gigantic.
for
It's
real?
literally like the third or fourth strongest hurricane that's ever been recorded
I
in
feel
the
like they say
Atlantic or
that
something
shit
like
every
that.
year though.
Yeah, but
This one's like
first of all, there was just a hurricane that destroyed
yeah, no, that one
Western
was
Florida.
yeah, and North Carolina
Oh yeah,
too
this
got
one
like demolished, right?
yes, Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
But this one too is whoo, this one's gonna be bad.
Oh shit,
It's
I
gonna
didn't
be
even hear
bad. It's
about
gonna
this.
be a lot of storm surge, a lot of flooding in Tampa. They don't know exactly the track yet, but
Damn,
it'll hit as a really big, probably category 1 or 2. It's like a category 4 or 5 right now,
that's
but it's
wild.
gonna hit as like a category 1 or 2. But even that, it's like, okay, well, Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which was supposed to help reduce our carbon emissions to reduce the impact of climate change. Ron DeSantis took the terms climate change out of every fucking Florida bill.
That's wild.
And so it's like, yeah, this is long-term shit, and eventually Florida's just going to fucking be underwater and people are going to be like, damn, that's crazy. Wish we saw that coming. And it's like, we fucking did, but you guys wanted to suck off big oil. And like, so now we are where we are,
The craziest thing I saw was they try to say I think the last storm was like fabricated, like there was like a map,
Oh my god, yeah, the hurricane hoaxers. Yeah, it's amazing.
right? And all of a sudden it was like on the map, and then there was like the fact checking thing, and it was just like someone just sped up the timeline or like chopped the timeline to just have, I forgot whatever the reason was of why it just appeared, but like imagine thinking that someone can just magically like drop a storm like
Bro,
to
the misinformation on social media these days is like embarrassing. The shit that people believe, like you mentioned North Carolina before, there's this fake picture going around of this little girl holding a dog like in a boat being rescued in North Carolina. It is literally the most obvious fake picture I've ever seen in my life. It looks more like a painting than it looks like an actual picture. And so many right-wing idiots online were sharing it as if it was real.
oh,
And they were like, this is what happens when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in control. And it's like, you don't know that that picture is not fake? And then when you call them out on it, the very next thing they always say is like, well, I don't know about this picture specifically, but I do know that there's a lot of bad stuff happening there, and
oh
it's still bad leadership. And the fact that I thought it was real means that there's a real big problem here. And it's like, yeah, there is, but the problem is you. The
yeah.
problem is your fucking bullshit. Elon Musk spreads misinformation all the time about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, like literal fake news he'll spread.
Well, that's why I
And
was
it's like, what are we doing?
I kind of like joke that like I mean like I haven't really been on like Twitter or X that much, but it's like why is he like I get it you like Trump, but why is he like his like every tweet like he's like his biggest fanboy now? It's kind of like weird. Like I know he'll
Yeah,
probably get a lot of benefits from if he was president, but like
right.
why is he on his jock so much like that?
He wants more tax cuts. He wants more subsidies. And he's decided to hitch his wagon to Trump so that he can get closer to power, right? Like, it's really that simple. It's really that simple.
It's kind
And
of
then a
like
lot of those people, they just hate liberals. Like, his whole politics is like Facebook boomer memes about hating liberals.
yeah.
Like, these motherfuckers don't have any thoughts deeper than some shit you could put on a bumper sticker for a car or put in a fucking fortune cookie. Like, they're just a bunch of idiots who believe bullshit they see on social media,
Yep.
and they think Trump is like a demigod, and so they suck him off 24/7. And he wants more tax cuts, and he wants more subsidies, and he wants to be close to the president, right? He wants to be in a government position.
I just feel
Trump's
like that'd
talking
be
about
like
making
bad
him the
for
head
his
of a government agency.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying, but I
it's
feel like
crazy.
it'd be like bad for his brand. Like it's almost like you're like alienating like all
Of
Democrats, all
course,
left-leaning
yeah.
people.
And he's
Like
a total hypocrite, too, because when he took over Twitter, what did he say? He was like, this is going to be politically neutral now. He said it's not going to be like the last people. The last people were pro-Democrat, and they like buried the Hunter
and
Biden
he's like pro
story.
right wing.
Yeah, and then he comes in, and everything's right-wing bullshit. And also, he banned Ken
Is
Klippenstein,
he
who
still
was a
banned?
journalist who reported on the J.D. Vance dossier.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
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 still
still there.
banned?
So they
That's
pretended
crazy.
like it was a temporary suspension,
Yeah.
but Ken showed the message he was sent from Twitter, and it's a permanent suspension.
Wow.
He just doesn't like him, so he's censoring him. That's the bottom line. And this is a guy who pretended like I'm taking over Twitter because I want to save free speech. It's like you just fucking crack down on free speech. You just want to control the free speech. You just want to be the censor.
Yeah.
You want to be the person in charge. Like that's the bottom line. He's a fucking hack, man. And also the other thing, he is a fucking idiot. Like it's kind of funny that
I've been
anybody
saying
ever
that
thought,
since '88. Like I think
everybody
he's
thought
just
he
a
was some
puppet.
genius.
Yeah.
Everybody thought he was some genius. It's like, let me tell you something. The people who made like the Tesla cars, they're like engineers. They're intelligent engineers. The people who do the Starlink shit, like the satellite internet that works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the engineers actually did the work in the shit.
Yep.
He's just a billionaire asshole who branded himself over the years, and he made a big name of himself. But he's
I think
a fucking
they
idiot.
just identified one person to like prop up as like the figurehead for all the shit that they're doing, and they picked his dumb ass to like be that person. It's kind of like Eminem is a good rapper and he was the right choice, but MTV and all these like stations propped him up to be like that white rapper, that white like goat, And I feel like they did that with Elon, but he's just a dumbass. He's just an idiot.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of hate over that Eminem comment, but yeah,
I mean, like
I
he's
understand what
good,
you're saying.
but he was propped up. I mean, like you need help. You need Like Limp Bizkit. I don't know if their music was good or not. They had some bangers, but
Now
like,
that's a good example. Limp Bizkit is
yeah, like
like,
MTV made them who they were, you know?
yeah, man. I sort of miss it back in the day, like MTV back in the day when they were like sort of the shit, like Total Request Live
Well,
and
Molly
Real
was trying to,
World and Road Rules.
she was trying to say, like Ryan Seacrest was that outside of like when you went on American Idol, you'd come out of the room and Ryan Seacrest would be there to like interview you. And she was like, he was good at that. And that Carson Daly tries to do that with The Voice, but he wasn't like, he's not good at like the interview, like, oh, how was your performance? Talk to the parents. And I was like, well, Carson Daly was kind of like the Seacrest before Seacrest, but he
Yeah,
was
you're
good on that one
100%
show.
right.
You put him on any other shit and he's kind of very awkward and not good.
You're 100% right. Yeah, he was the OG. He was
Yeah.
doing like shit. What was he like 1995? It started like 96,
Yeah, way
something like
back.
that. Like, yeah, Ryan Seacrest was like nobody and nowhere when he was the OG interviewer. But I remember when they tried to give Carson a nighttime TV show, nighttime talk show.
That shit
Yeah, it was
flop.
like it was one of those ones that's like they know it's not good enough to put at like the normal late night
That
slot,
shit,
like at 11.
but it
So
wasn't
they put
even
him
the
on at
like.
12.
There's the late night show. There's like Fallon and Kim, like Kimmel, Fallon, and Colbert. Then there's some late shit.
Right? It was like Craig Ferguson back in the
Yeah,
day.
but Carson
And
Daly's was
Conan
like
O'Brien.
late. Like his shit was like 1, 2 in the morning. Where even after those two shits ended,
Yep.
they're like, "Fuck, man! Like we got to give him
Fine. Put Carson
something."
on.
Yeah,
No, his role, you're so right about what his role is, though. His role is like be the bland, inoffensive white guy who asks like basic ass questions.
yep.
And look, I'll say this though, and I'm curious if Molly agrees. Sort of fuck Ryan Seacrest. Like,
Oh, OD.
I don't have the same sort of hatred for Carson Daly that I do for Ryan Seacrest. Like, I just actively don't like Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah,
Like, I don't like him.
I kind of didn't agree with her assessment because I'm to your point where I'm like, fuck Seacrest's interview after American Idol. Like Carson Daly earned his like spot to do that shit. Like he's been doing it since '88. Seacrest, like, no, like you can't just come on American Idol and think that you're the guy. Because I feel like anybody could have interviewed any. Like that show was just hot. Like Simon Cowell made it hot. The other dude who was like, "Dog, what's up, dog?" And Paul Abdul. Like you were just
Randy Jackson. I think
Randy
his name
Jackson.
is, yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
0 pounds now. He's like mad skinny and like
I know, it's so crazy. It looks so weird.
super
Yeah.
weird. Like if you're a fat person, like just stay that way. Like don't try and be on some like Jenny Craig. Like now I'm
Nah,
skinny. Like
so
we know you as Ryan Jackson, the dude saying dog, who was like the heavy dude from American Idol.
so I'll tell you that here's the trick. If you're somebody who's like if you're kind of overweight, etc., like Randy Jackson, there's other people I could point to too, but I'll be nice and not say their names. But like, look, I'm actually like you lose some weight, but I'm cutting you off at like 15 pounds.
Yeah. Like if
Like you could lose 15.
who's the Jersey Chris
Christie?
Chris Christie. Like if he got really skinny and people are like, good for him. Like, no, he's known. Like he's just the big fat mayor or whatever.
Yeah, like
governor.
and this weird thing happens when somebody's like pretty fat and then they like lose all of the weight.
Yeah.
They look less healthy.
That's
like
true.
You don't look healthy.
Yeah.
You look like worse.
Yeah.
You know? And like I'm not like pro obesity or anything, but lose some weight to get your shit under control. Make your belly like a little bit flatter. Get rid of one of those 3 double chins. Like
eat healthier.
Eat healthier. Go down a size or 2 for your shirt. Lose a couple inches off the belt line. Like I'm cool with that. But let's stop pretending that like it looks good to go from 280 pounds down to like 160.
Yeah.
Like, nah, bro, that looks hard. Like you look sick.
Yeah.
You look sick.
No,
like,
you're
you
right.
got to make sure to look like this is some people. It just fits their body, right? Like everybody's used to, like, think Trump is the best example, bro. If Trump could lose like 15 pounds, yeah, he could, that's fine. But second he gets to like 20, 40, 60, it's like, oh my God, he's dying.
Yeah.
You know, like you look horrible.
Your face starts drooping, like you look tired.
Yeah.
Just stay.
The face droop. Yeah.
Your body's supposed to be a certain range. Like just stay in the range where you're supposed to be at least.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like if I were to lose weight, I'd have to do like 10 pounds at most. right?
Yeah, if you
Because if
did
I
too
go
much,
more
you'd be
than
like,
that,
like something's up with him. He's got like some disease or some shit. But it's
sick,
like
something's going on, right? Yep, that's right.
I've been having since I moved back to New York. So we've been back like 4 or 5 months. It's insane how every bagel shop has a banging bagel. Every pizza shop that like even people are like, nah, that pizza's not that good there. It's still banging pizza. You can't. When we first moved back here, we went to one pizza shop that like I was like, this is fine. This is like great. Like we're back with pizza. Then I discovered this other spot, and I was like, oh wow, that's good pizza. But the other shit wasn't bad. Then I found a third spot now where the
Oh
pizza's
man,
even better, and I'm like, how does it just keep topping each other? Because the first shit I thought was fine, and then I like Dean, my old college roommate, came over and he went to the first spot and was like, dog, that pizza's like trash. I was like, you crazy? Like it's fine. Like it folds. It's cheesy. Like to me, any pizza was good, but I guess like
right?
once your
Yep.
palate has been like New Yorkified,
Mm-hmm.
you can see the difference in pizza. But all the bagels, all the pizzas so far have been like unreal. Like I feel bad for anyone out of any other state that is just like I'm gonna just go to Domino's and pick up some pizza. Like that can't just get like a banging slice or a banging bagel. Like even in Colorado, my sister's like, there's a spot where you can kind of get like New York bagels. They do something with the water that's similar, but it's like $9 for a bagel. Like
Hmm.
they know that you're coming there because it tastes similar.
So let
Everywhere
me ask
here.
you, was Chicago shit? Were they like low key horrible?
No, it
Chicago's
wasn't
pizza
bad, but it's
options?
like age old thing is like Chicago pizza is a whole meal. It's deep dish. It's like you can only
So
have
you
like
couldn't get a
no,
New
you can't
York
like
type slice there. Like they don't
exactly.
have it.
No, yeah,
See, that's crazy because like I understand like doing the whole Chicago deep dish thing. That's cool, but
mhm,
you give me the option of the other
exactly.
shit.
Yeah,
Like have some places that have that option. You know?
that's my thing. Is like there's so many people that start restaurants and all this shit. Like just start some shit that is successful somewhere else. Like to your point, put a spot where you could just get like a regular slice in Chicago and you'd be a multimillionaire.
It's crazy. The other thing is, I still don't, for the life of me, I don't understand how Texas style barbecue hasn't made it to all 50 states.
That that
Like, Texas barbecue is out of this world.
yeah.
We actually have a couple barbecue places here in Virginia,
Hmm.
and they're good. Like, they're
Virginia,
good.
I feel like could has like good barbecue.
So, like, they're good, but they're not Texas good.
Yeah,
Texas good. Texas is like, you just can't touch it. And this is the point that you're making about pizza. But I do have to say, I'm a little bit. I feel like I'm very lenient when it comes to the issue of pizza. Like it's hard for me. For me to say that pizza was trash. It has to be really trash
yeah,
because like I'm good with most pizza. You
same.
know, yeah. Especially because I'm one of those dudes who like I like you probably don't agree with this one. I think we've had this conversation before. Most people like pizza thin and crispy. I
Like
like it thick. I like it thick and doughy. Pause. Like I prefer a thicker slice of pizza.
how
You know what I'm
how
saying?
how thin is your thin though? Like it's like matzah, like it like breaks as like you like. Can you bend it?
I mean, yeah, like yeah, you can bend it, but it's thin.
Yeah,
It's thin.
I think I like that. Like
Yeah, most people like thin and crispy. In my experience, most people I've talked to, and most New Yorkers will say, I like the pizza to be sort of thin and crispy.
yeah,
And I've always been the type that's like I love Sicilian slices, like
yeah.
the thicker shit. Like I
So
love
so
that
you would
shit.
like Chicago pizza too? Have you had Chicago deep dish before?
So I know I haven't properly had it. Like
Okay.
maybe I've had a frozen example. Like I like it. I
Yeah,
like it. But to your point, it's different. It's not like it needs to be
that's like
called something
super thick
different.
and doughy.
Yeah, but it needs to be called something different because it's
Yeah,
not really like it's pizza, but it's not really pizza.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like it's just something else. It's just call it something else.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Uh, I don't know. I'm just like I don't know if Chinese food like originated in China, but like that shit is everywhere in the US. So like we were smart to like you go to Alabama, there's going to be a Chinese food spot there. Why is there no like New York pizza in Alabama that
Yeah.
is good? You know, like you can find a good Chinese spot in every state.
See, but that's funny because that's one I'm kind of snobbish about. Like, I feel like the majority of the time I have Chinese food,
Hmm.
it's not good.
Oh, really?
Like, if you find a good Chinese food spot, I'm like, yes, because then it's banging and you could eat there all the time. But there's so many times I've tried a Chinese spot and I'm like, this is so bad. Like, this just tastes bad, you
You know
know?
what I kind of have seen. I don't know like who the manufacturers are, but like the fortunes inside of fortune cookies have kind of like fallen off hard body. Like the fortunes one won't even be a fortune. It'll be like some like you look pretty or like the weather's nice outside. I've seen ones that don't have fortunes inside of the cookie.
Whoa, bro, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
sometimes. And then the third, sometimes they'll hit you with two fortunes in there, which is like a nice little thing. But they're not like old school. You would get a fortune cookie to open up, and it hit you with like some actual like wisdom, something nice. On the back, it'd
Yep.
be standard like learn Chinese, and then it'd have a word with some numbers on it. But now it's got like I feel like it's like old school popsicles. Like there used to be a joke on the bottom, and then you eat the thing, and then the like the other side would be the line.
Mm-hmm.
Fortune cookies have just gotten super whack now. I don't know. I don't know like who I'm kind of at a loss for words at like what's happened to fortune cookies in our country. Like if I was president, that would be my sticking point. I'd be like, I'm bringing back good fortunes and fortune cookies.
Bro, you mentioned popsicles. I know I feel like we've had whole ass conversations on this before, but to this day I still crave those old school WWF ice cream
Oh
bars.
yeah.
Like that was my shit when I was a kid.
I
The
mean, like
taste of that cookie and it was so good.
there was a little bit
And
of
they just
chocolate
don't.
in there.
And then somebody said they were bringing them back, and I literally never saw them. Like I read an article like, oh, they're coming back, and then it was just like they never showed up in the store. They never were an option. I would have grabbed those shits in 2 seconds if I saw them.
I'm surprised they never brought those back because I mean, like wrestling's hot again right now. I think like Triple H is the new Vince McMahon because like supposedly Vince McMahon has been like super canceled for everything he's
Oh
done.
yeah, he's another one that's on some like Diddy type shit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then supposedly they did a documentary and like he was in it and then afterwards was like they like I didn't think they were going to use my interview the way they did and they made him look like a bad guy, but literally like everything he was saying was like on some bad guy shit.
You're saying Triple H was shitting on Vince McMahon?
No, Vince McMahon like he was canceled and then he I think people kind of forgot about him and then he was in some documentary that just came out and like he was the one talking and then he came out with a statement saying like I was in this documentary but I didn't think they were going to use my like words against me the way they did or something like that.
Oh, so like he said shit and it made him look bad, and then he was like, "Bro, I
I
wasn't
didn't
trying to make myself look bad."
Yeah, but he was saying I think like he was bad because he was playing Vince McMahon like the character but it was like nah, chill, like you were just a bad person.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those businesses, bro. And
That
I know some people who were in the wrestling business. Like it seems like a super exploitative business,
yeah.
you know. And then you see the way that so many of the people who are wrestlers, they like abuse drugs and they're on the road a ridiculous number of days throughout the year, and
It's like
like it
bad to
doesn't.
women and stuff.
Yeah, it's not like a healthy lifestyle.
No.
And I feel like there's just so much debauchery and so many problems with it. And then the contracts again are kind of exploitative. Sort of like UFC. Like people say that the contracts there are like super exploitative. Yeah,
UFC
that
is
sucks.
another
But
one where I saw
you
like
gotta, yeah, Dana White. Yeah.
well, he sucks, but like the last fight, like someone sent me a photo of like how bloody the dude's face was, and I was like, that doesn't look good or healthy at all.
I mean,
Like,
Americans love their fucking vicious ass sports, right? They love their contact sports and they want to see somebody get fucked up.
would
Like,
you ever
think of
do?
how many NFL players have
Yeah,
like traumatic brain injury because of playing football, you know?
but here's my thing about NFL players. Like, it's like I don't think rugby players are having that many like when you play NFL and you have like that biggest helmet on, there's like a false sense of like security
Yeah.
that you lead with, whereas rugby players
Yep.
know not to go full speed and like slam your head into someone.
I've seen this argument before. Yeah. The argument is like, just take the helmets off.
Take the helmets off.
And then they have to find a different way to tackle each other where they're not leading with their head and there's fewer traumatic brain injuries, you know?
Would you ever
I've
do
seen
that that power slap league?
Hell no. Bro, let me tell you something. So, you know, when I was a kid, one of the things I did with my buddy Will and Bobby, we would do trampoline wrestling.
Yeah.
We would set up our camcorder. We would get on the trampoline and we would do like our own wrestling match, like we were in the WWE, right? We'd bring the ladders up. We'd flip off the ladders. We had like fake blood we would use. We'd hit each other with chairs. I'd take bumps, get power bombed, whatever. Like we did all that shit. And so the other day, we have a trampoline here. And the other day, I'm jumping on it with my little one. And she just learned, she's a gymnast, so now she knows how to like do flips and shit. And so on the trampoline now, she learned how to do her full backflip where she can land it no problem. And so she's excited about that. And I still got it from when I was a kid. Like I could still do most of the shit I knew how to do back then, I could still do now, right?
That's like your body just remembered how to like do the flips on.
You get such a big bounce from the trampoline that of course I can do a backflip.
I can never do that shit. I'm like scared.
Well, yeah, because you didn't do it when you were a kid, right? Like I did it all the time.
True.
So anyway, I get up there, do my backflip, land it, chilling. But like a second after I land it, I'm like, I can feel my brain in my head like going
like moving around.
Yeah, like hitting the like hard part of my head, hitting my skull and shit. And I was like, that sort of hurt a little bit. And then I was like, how much brain damage did I give myself by trampoline wrestling as a kid where all day, every day, my brain was just sloshing around my head, hitting into my skull. And like, I didn't think anything of it because I'm a kid and I wasn't that in tune with my body. I didn't fucking know any different. But like, was I giving myself fucking permanent brain damage by doing that? And the answer is maybe. Probably. Maybe I was.
Probably. But it was fun.
It was fun as fuck. It was fun as fuck. But it's so crazy that all it took was me doing a flip at the age of 36. And when I landed going, damn, I feel that my brain is hitting shit in my head and it doesn't feel good. And like, I did this for 2 or 3 years straight in like formative developmental years.
I still give you props for being able to do that. Like Molly could do flips. She did that growing up, but I can't do a cartwheel because I can't get my legs to like flip over.
Yeah, to go straight. Yeah.
I mean, I could do a somersault was like the only shit I could do, but like my body feels weird flipping completely over like that. Like I would never, like when kids are young and they go on the diving board and they're like doing flips and spinning in the air. I'm like, how do you do that shit without, I don't know. It's impressive.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like riding a bike. Like if you learn it when you're a kid, you just like sort of know how to do it, period. And flipping on a trampoline is like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to be able to flip on the ground.
Yeah,
now I would bust my shit if I tried to flip on the ground, right?
But did
like
you
even
ever
just trying to do
like
a back handspring now?
But ever doing it to start, did you ever like fall flat on your face, or like you can't even have that cross your mind?
I never got hurt. I never got seriously hurt flipping.
Wow.
Never did. But there were times where I should have. It was when I was getting crazy. Like I've told this story before, and Bobby will verify this in our group chat later if you ask him. But when we were at the peak of our like trampoline wrestling shit, Bobby and I got obsessed with flipping. And it wasn't just, we started moving it, not just on, we took it off the trampoline and started doing it on the ground and shit like that. And what we would do for fun is we would go find shit to flip off of, like literally in real life. So like one of the things we found, it was the middle of the winter, and you know those like AC units that are outside?
Yeah.
Box that are outside.
Those things have like deadly ass fans that are spinning in those.
Yeah, it was fully covered though, so it's not like I was going to slip into the fan. But this is, don't get me wrong, this is still absolutely stupid. So I climb up there, middle of winter. There's snow on the ground, so I'm thinking even if I don't land it, I'm chilling because I'll just land in the snow and it won't hurt, right? So I crouch to go do my backflip off of it, and my foot slips, and I just land like on my back and my neck and don't get over, right? And so that was probably the worst it ever was for me. There was one time for our buddy Will, he was a little more bold than I was, believe it or not, at the time, and he was like, he wanted to do a double front flip, and he went over. He went
like 2 flips in the that's like
2 flips and land on his back, not land on his feet.
Oh, okay. I was about to say that's some
the
like
trampoline is soft.
some
Yeah, the
X
trampoline
Games
is
shit.
soft.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you can't. To land that on your feet is
I feel like that
you
like
gotta be
Tony
Simone
Hawk did
Biles.
that, and he like was like got a documentary on ESPN for doing that shit.
Yeah. No, you got to be Simone Biles to land it on your feet.
Yeah, bro. I was like,
Land it on your
Will could
back
do
is-
that. Will's mad unathletic.
So he goes ready. He goes like this. So he flips. He goes over, and then his forehead hits the trampoline.
Oh.
And then his legs go behind his head and hit on the other side of him. And so that was the worst I've ever seen because he was just laying on the ground, rolling around in pain.
Oh.
And my dumb ass, I mean, shit, we're in 6th grade at the time. And I'm just like, you good, bro?
Oh.
I was like, bro, breathe. You're good. Just breathe.
Take a deep breath.
And, you know, he could have fucking broken his neck. But thankfully for everybody, he didn't break his neck. He had gotten the wind fully knocked out of him by falling like that. He didn't break anything or anything like that. So anyway, that was the worst that happened. But in terms of like flipping on the trampoline, never got hurt flipping on the trampoline. Did maybe get hurt trying to flip not on the trampoline, right? But again, once you get it, like it's not like I even went into it on the trampoline with I'm going to learn how to flip. I got into it because we wanted to do trampoline wrestling.
Yeah.
And part and parcel of doing trampoline wrestling is a bunch of shit where you get flipped over or you flip somebody else over. And so that was just sort of par for the course. And you'd be surprised when you're that young, when you're in like 6th grade, 7th grade, it's kind of easy to do a flip. Like it's not that hard, especially because like I said, you don't have to land it on your feet. You land on your back.
Yeah.
You know, it got to the point where we knew how to land on our feet, but you just land on your back.
And you just bounce right back up or some shit.
What I was the best at, and again, Bobby will verify this, what I was the best at was what's called in the wrestling world taking bumps, which is like you fall in a way that makes it look like you got really hurt, but you didn't get really hurt. And I would fall like an accordion. Like I would land on my neck and have my legs kick over my head, and it would look like I broke my neck, but I'd be fine. Like that was my shit. I could take bumps. So like people could do really good moves to me, and I make it look like I got hurt, but I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that from watching wrestling. Like, yeah, they'll look like a scorpion when they like fall, and their like body will bounce off.
Yep.
I mean, it's like a quarterback that knows how to take a hit well. Like they know how to fall, where their body like is like curved or whatever. And some of the good quarterbacks that like get hit fucking hard, they just fall to the ground correctly, and they never really get hurt because they know how to properly fall. It's like it's like being a good stunt man. Like they're doing crazy shit, but they know how to fall and like go the right ways that they're not going to get hurt.
Yeah, you're finding a way for your body to absorb the blow of the fall where it's sort of equally distributed everywhere, and you're not like it's not specifically in one area.
Yep.
And that makes it so that it's just a lot safer.
Yeah.
And some people know how to do it and some people don't know how to do it. But that was the thing that I had a natural knack for, that I was pretty good at when it came to trampoline wrestling.
Do you think if you went on a diving board, you can flip into the water?
Definitely. 100%.
Damn.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be hard. Diving boards are elevated.
Yeah.
And you're going into water.
Yeah.
So that's nothing.
Oh, damn. Yeah, when we
go
to like, the water
speaking
park.
of, another funny story when it comes to flipping. So I was at a pool that had a pretty high diving board.
Yeah, some of them are super high.
This one was pretty high. Not like crazy high, but it was maybe like 4 feet off the ground or something like that. And so I get up there, and I can't remember what I was trying to do. I don't know if... I think I was trying to do a double front flip. And so I do the first one and I do the second one, and I did it faster than I expected. And so I'm falling in, and I wanted to land just like on my feet, like pencil drop on my feet. But instead I do the flip, and like I'm coming in, and my body just keeps going forward and forward and forward. And I land with the hardest belly flop of all time. And that shit hurt more than any injury I ever got from flipping off other shit. I hit so hard, it was like I got smacked in the face. It was so bad. My body was red. My face was red. That was rough. That one was rough.
That's why I would never like... I give you props for even trying any of that shit. Because like those dudes who are in the Olympics that like jump off that shit and they're like tumbling over and then go right in. I'm like, they've had to have had times where they're that high up and they've missed a flip and just landed straight on their thing, and like it's over.
Yeah,
I would never do that again. I'll be like, yeah, I'm just gonna cannonball every single time I jump in now.
The higher you go up, the more dangerous the water is.
Yeah.
Like, and if you hit it at a certain angle, it's like it feels almost like you're landed on the ground, right? Like there's resistance to you, and you can like smack up against it. Yeah, people don't realize how dangerous diving can be, right? And water can be.
Even
I mean,
swimming in general. Yeah, I don't go in oceans or any of that shit anymore because like
I'm not a swimmer either. I don't like swimming. Swimming is not my thing. I'm with you on that.
I
shit.
went to the wedding I was at yesterday was in New Rochelle on the water there. And just watching the waves, there was like one wave that was like coming this way and another wave like right next to it coming this way. And they were like both crashing into each other. I was like, damn, this is kind of like, it's just weird how the like fucking water, nature, all that shit works. It was like, so like that hurricane coming.
Oh, it's a wrap on that shit.
And they don't stop. Like, I know it's like hurricane seasons, but the damage that those shits do is wild.
Yeah, so they say this storm could have up to 15 feet of what's called storm surge, which is like when the hurricane pushes the water inland and it keeps rising and rising and rising, and that's where you get like really bad flooding when like the water rises so high that it floods all the streets near it and stuff. So they say 15 feet of storm surge, and then in the center of the hurricane, it's going to be like a foot of rain, 12 inches of rain. So you're going to have saltwater flooding from the storm surge and freshwater flooding from the rain. And so they say like all of these areas, even the areas that are way inland, are going to be swamped and flooded. And everybody saw what just happened with Asheville, North Carolina. Like that whole shit was underwater.
Yeah,
and that
they showed like a Wendy's
far from the coast. The Wendy's was underwater. And that was far from the coast. It's not like that's not saltwater surge. That's like the river overflows because there's too much rain, right? Like people don't realize like this, and that's why insurance companies are leaving Florida. They're like, we're not insuring your house. Your shit is on borrowed time, bro. Your shit is going to be gone within a decade. We're not fucking insuring you. Fuck out of here. And so like, what do you do, right? Like at some point, how many times can you rebuild and start over if you know that within 3 years there's going to be another category 5 that comes through here and wipes everything fucking clean out?
They showed one house that was like, I think, in the water. I don't know if it was like North Carolina or South Carolina or somewhere. This shit looked like it was like built on like toothpicks, and like the water came in and completely demolished it. And they were like 3 years earlier they try to like sell this house for like $700,000.
Oh my god, Jesus! There was also a floating house. I'm sure you saw that one.
Oh, I think Asheville. I saw that shit.
Yeah, a house floated away.
That's
because they don't expect like in a place like Asheville, you're not flooding is not on the top of your mind. It's a fucking mountain town, right? Yeah, so you don't think it's going to be flooding, but it did.
We went to
1,000 year or whatever.
Point Pleasant, I think, South Carolina or something like that, and it was right on the water. And I mean, I haven't looked or saw if that place got hit with the storm, but like it was right on the water, and those houses were right there. So it's like they're probably gone.
Shit, I mean, where South Carolina has been fine recently.
Oh, okay,
but it's possible that
I think it was
at
called.
some point they could get hit. Yeah, South Carolina, the coast of South Carolina has been good. What I'm surprised by is, so now this is the second hurricane that's going to the west coast of Florida. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if I was buying a place in Florida, I would think the west coast is safer than the east coast.
Yeah.
It's got the whole Atlantic Ocean out there.
It's not, right?
Right. But, I mean, shit, at least this hurricane season, you're getting the hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico. And, I mean, that's where Katrina was in the Gulf, right?
Yeah,
and that just totally wiped New Orleans off the map for a while.
That was massive.
It's just, I don't know, man. There's just some places where it's like you just can't buy property there because like your shit is just gonna get washed away at some point, you know. But it's like what places are safe?
No,
right?
Safe.
Think of Phoenix. It was just 117 degrees in fucking October there the other day. How long can that last? How long can people handle that shit? Right? Whether it's drought in certain places or extreme heat in other places or hurricanes here or like we keep seeing these stories where it's like billions of dollars in damage because of some extreme weather event, you know?
Is it true? Did the government only like, or did they give like $750 to people who were like really bad or something like that? Like who were really affected and people were mad that they only gave $750 or something?
No. So this is some right-wing bullshit that was floating around Twitter. So initially the government has given the people who are impacted by the flooding $750 each, but that's just a short-term amount of money before, you know, places will get, FEMA will come in and places will get valued and people will get more money than that.
Oh, okay.
But like the right is trying to lie and say like, oh, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have abandoned people during this. But it's not true. If you talk to the local mayors, if you talk to the governor, Like everybody on the ground will tell you
They're getting
FEMA's here.
support.
They're doing their FEMA shit. Biden was literally on top of it right before it happened, right after it happened, greenlit all of the money that they needed. Like, it's just some bullshit that they, it's classic, like, social media misinformation. Like, oh, they're abandoning. It's like, no, they're not. You're just fucking making that up,
I'm not gonna lie. I saw my first. So where I live, there's a lot of Trump people around me, and this was the first. I was driving down the road, and they had a Trump because I won at my daughter's school. Like people putting Halloween decorations up and shit like that, inflatables like pumpkins and skeletons and shit like this. This dude had a Donald Trump inflatable in front of his house.
Oh my God.
It kind of looked cool, like
wow.
but like. My whole thing is like, and I was talking to Molly about this. Like, I'm okay if you want to put a like Trump Vance like shit in your yard, cool. But you lose me when you start putting like 6 or 7 shits around your house. Like it's like just put one thing up. I get it, we get it. You're gonna vote for the guy, but like you don't have to put. People put like 4 flags on their house, and they like this dude had a inflatable like. You lose me at that point. Then it's like, yo, something weird is going on. Like, just put one shit. I get it.
Yeah, so
I don't know why they put the need to do like their whole house spray painted with this dude's shit.
So I'm actually even harder line than you on this. So like, look, don't get me wrong. Yeah, everybody has the right to put up whatever sort of bullshit they want to put up to virtue signal about what they believe in. But I'm even harder line than you in that, like, I see these signs all the time. I see a lot of Trump shit around us. I even see some Kamala Harris, Tim Walz stuff, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think for us, I'm like, would I ever put a Kamala Harris, Tim Walz sign up in my yard? No. Would I ever put, even back like during Bernie's heyday,
I probably would put some Bernie shit up.
But in my yard, would I put up some big ass Bernie shit? Well, the reason I wouldn't do that is like super practical, because it's like, bro, how many people have to come? Like, okay, we got the plumber's got to come to do some plumbing shit. You got the gardener comes to do some gardening shit. You got the pest removal people that come and get rid of like termites and bugs comes or whatever every day. The fuck. Mailman comes every day. Delivery drivers come every day. This and that. Like, what people need to understand is we're so fucking hyper partisan and divided. If you put up some shit like that, basically what you're doing is saying this to 50% of the people who you're going to come in contact with. You're like, fuck you, fuck off.
Yep.
Right? And I see all these Trump things, and it's like you said, like, we get it, right? I understand that where I live is a majority Trump area, and it's like, yeah, I fucking get it. You guys are going to vote for Trump. But the fact that you're like rubbing that shit in and posting it and virtue signaling and screaming from the rooftops about it, it's like, you're sort of off. Like, you're sort of mentally unwell if you're doing that. I mean, sorry, you just are, especially because this dude has been running for president now for over a fucking, like, about a decade straight. 3 election cycles straight, this motherfucker's been running for president. He was already president for 4 years, and everything was a fucking disaster. You desperately want him to come back, and you think he's going to solve everything like he's some emperor, overlord, god king. Like, you're just showing everybody how unserious you are when you think about these things. That you just throw your lot in like, yeah, I don't know, he makes me feel good, I'm going to go with that guy. And it's like, you might as well, like, fucking put up a yard sign that says, I have an IQ of 72. Like, what are you doing? It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I say that even as somebody who is very political and very politically involved. Like, I'm not going to fucking I believe this. It's like, okay, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares. If anything, you're just annoying everybody. Like, shut the fuck up. Be normal.
Or we're going to sway someone the other way of like, that's too much shit going on, so I'm going to vote for, like, I'm annoyed by that. So out of spite, I'm going to vote for the other person. But I will say, where I live, and I heard someone say this shit, and it kind of had me laughing. Like, if I put some Trump shit in my yard, like, my landscaper, everyone who came through my shit might do a better job, because they'll be like, I fuck with this guy. He likes Trump. Whereas, like, if I did put some, like, Kamala shit, you'd be like, I'm going to fuck up his grass. Like, fuck this dude. Like, it almost could work in my favor if I put some, like, pro-Trump shit all over my house.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the biggest divide in this country. I mean, you're hitting on it right there, right? The biggest divide in this country is rural versus urban.
Yeah.
So, like, everybody in cities is going to be for the Democrats. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just how it is. It's going to be massive numbers in favor of the Democrats. And the flip side of that is everybody in the country is 100% on Trump's side, majority on
Yeah.
Trump's side. And then like the suburbs is a little bit of a mix. It's like a little bit different in the suburbs. You probably get a more equal mix in the suburbs. But like the biggest divide in the country is cities versus country versus rural. And it's like, that's just what I mean. That's you can predict based off that and that alone, right? Like that's the biggest breakdown, even bigger than like age demographics and things of that nature. Any map you look at is going to be Democrat wins the cities,
Yeah.
Republican wins the country. That's just what it is. So to your point, yeah, if you're living in the country, you're right. Like if you were to put up some Trump shit, you would probably get more people who fuck with you, and vice versa. If you're living in the city and you put up some Kamala shit or have a bumper sticker that's Kamala or whatever, you're gonna have more people that fuck with you because that's just the way it is in those certain areas. You know.
When we moved into our house, on our garage door, they had a Hillary Clinton like Tim Kaine shit, and we had like a lot of like people come through and do construction and stuff like that. I was like, yo, we gotta just take that shit off the door. Like, I don't want them thinking we're fucking with Hillary Clinton. Still, like the last person had it up.
And no, you're right. You're right. Like, why would you want to make your life more difficult? I've seen businesses put up political shit.
Oh, they're tons. Yeah, no, you're right.
But that's crazy. Like, you're literally telling half the people in the country, like, fuck off.
There's a whole shopping center by us that like the whole front of the shit, like there's like a karate spot in there. There's like a deli. The whole yard in front of all the stores is like trumped out.
See, that might be because some Trump campaign people put it there.
Probably, yeah. But
it's like some
still deters me from going into that shit.
I hear you. The real one to look out for, though, is if a specific business...
Oh, like put some shit in there.
You know, this specific business puts up a Trump flag or whatever, like an auto body shop or whatever.
Yeah.
If it's not on public or semi-public land, that's the red flag. Because then that person's like, I'm all about this Trump shit, and I don't care if I'm going to lose 50% of my business because I'm like pissing off all the liberals.
So,
you know,
that's the whole shit with Elon. It's like, yo, like what, like you could pick a side, but like you're picking, like you're too far on the side.
Yeah, and he's also just an idiot. Like he says dumb shit.
Yeah,
like he believes fake news stories. He says dumb shit,
he's
and I'm so sick of everybody who sucks him off.
Yeah,
you know,
strange dude.
He's the worst. He's the fucking worst.
Yeah. I haven't seen
he's embarrassing.
I haven't seen the polls, but is it still close? Because I'm not gonna front. When I mean, I don't know if just Trump people go harder, but I wanted to like tell you this shit, and I mean you see it too probably. But everywhere I go, like people go super hard for Trump. Like driving upstate New York, like people put on hay barrels.
Upstate New York
like
is Trump country.
But like even other states, like the amount of like shit people will do to show their support for him is kind of wild. That makes me nervous. Like, I mean, it's free advertising across the whole country, because I don't see motherfuckers putting like Kamala shit. Like, if they're gonna put one, they're gonna put one on their yard, but they're not putting like billboards. They're not, like putting big ass pictures of him, like of her. I just think like there's a lot of support for that motherfucker that like kind of gets me nervous.
So I got good news for you. The good news is, according to the numbers right now, it's like, I would say it's a 55 to 60% chance that Kamala wins.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she's a slight favorite right now by the numbers. And if anything, the pollsters might slightly be overstating Trump's support.
Oh, okay.
Because the way they do the surveys is self-reporting how they voted previously. And anyway, long story short, it might oversample Republicans a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the numbers show right now. But if the election was today, I think she probably would win, but the election's not today.
Yeah.
And so, ask me on the day of, and I'll tell you what the current situation is. But, we could be looking at a fucking coin flip, man. We could be looking at a coin flip, right? And so to me, that's kind of crazy, because any sort of potential appeal he had has been gone for a while.
Yeah.
Right? This is not the same dude in 2016 who was out there and every now and then he would say something that sounded legit, whether attacking Hillary Clinton for outsourcing jobs or talking about corruption, etc. He's not the same dude. Like, he is insane. Yeah. Like, he's just insane.
And he's
like,
older. Like,
he's older. Yeah. He's senile. 91 criminal charges against him. Tried to overthrow the last election. Did the fake electors slate. Like, and what is he talking about now? Like, he's out there saying that fucking Haitian immigrants are eating cats and
Yeah, shit
dogs.
is wild.
And then every fucking fact checker on the planet is like, that's just not true. And you got that from a Nazi group called Blood Tribe, and you're spreading like literal Nazi propaganda. And he just doubles down on the shit. And like, he still says he won in 2020, even though that's what lost these idiots the fucking midterms in 2022. All the crazy Trump-like Republicans lost because they were so obsessed with that issue, and they were so bad on abortion that Americans were like, fuck you.
Even Melania was like, she's for abortion, right?
Yeah, she was. And so now he's just flailing. Like, his campaign sucks. Like, he sounds extreme.
Yeah.
There's no appeal anymore. And so, yeah, I think, look, the thing is, the people who still ride with him, though, are crazy and scary.
They ride
and so
with him.
that's what you're seeing. You're seeing, like, you know, hey, I see these Trump signs, I see this. Like, yeah, those are literally all the people who are card-carrying members of the fucking cult.
Yeah.
Like, they're in a cult at this point. So they're loud, they're obnoxious, they're aggressive, but there are definitely fewer of them. So it's Kamala's race to lose at this point, and she's a slight favorite right now, but we'll have to see come election day if the dynamics change. But I don't want to do it again, bro. I don't want another fucking 4 years of his nonsense. Like, enough. It's enough. It's enough. It's a fucking roller coaster. The shit he says, it's like, I don't want to wake up to him beefing with another country and threatening to drop nukes on. Like, he needs to shut the fuck up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I hope. I mean, yeah, I hope so. There's no more debates, right?
No, that's it. He refuses to debate her again because he's a little
bitch.
He got
demolished, right? Yeah.
He got destroyed. Yeah. He got destroyed. And now they're done with the VP debates. Yeah. So they're done. And then we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we could wrap this up. We're almost at 2 hours and I got to piss like a racehorse. By the way, I had a list of shit for us to talk about. I was like, maybe we'll get to it. We got to 0 of the things. 0. I was going to talk about my eye doctor thing, and then the dentist, and then cats.
Oh.
But we'll come back to that.
Fuck cats. People know I hate cats, man. I know you're a cat guy now.
Yeah, this is a bigger. We'll have this conversation next week,
okay,
or whenever we can. Hopefully next week.
Okay.
We'll see if we could work it in next week. But all right, y'all. There you go. Kyle and Corin. Absolutely positively back. Now I just need to figure out how to stop this bitch. All right.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you on this Riverside